How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now, today, guys, we have another video, and in this one, we're going to talk about a few rumors, a few hints, and some other things that I want to kind of bring up, and some information that I've been sent, which I will kind of take a look at. So, here we go, guys. Let's get started with the first few things here. Now, before we get started with this one, I just want to give a huge shout out to, I think, specifically, Pringo. Thank you to Pringo, because Pringo sent me all these things, right, with Eevee. So, why do I even look at this, right? Because Project Eevee has been going crazy, and right here we can see something very interesting. So, they tweeted out this thing saying, Eevee, I found out with Takara Tomi-san that I was excited about the new product released at the end of this month, and then they show off that, this Eevee is sitting in essentially... See? It's playing the Pokemon, like, Kanto music. It's playing the opening music for, I think, Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Red and Green and Blue, I think. It's playing the opening theme for those games right there in the start of, or like rather through this little clip here. You can actually notice it. And also, I'm going to slow down my speaking. I know a lot of you guys are saying, like, slowly speak so we can understand what you're saying because you speak very fast. I'm sorry. That's just how I grew up, and that's just how I speak generally. Either way, so why am I even mentioning this? Because there was another message here, or another post by specifically the Twitter account of, like, Project Eevee. And if you guys kind of slow down and look through all of them, you'll notice they've been tweeting a lot of stuff. One of the things they tweeted was essentially a picture, this one right here, and the GIF, and this one also had music on it. And I talked about this one on my stream yesterday with you guys. But if you listen to this, they also play music in this one as well. And there you go. Now, you may be asking, okay, what does this mean? Well, read what the tweet actually says. More friends have increased. Do you see what I mean, right? So, originally, the starter Pokemon you would have in Pokemon Yellow was, you had Pikachu. You got Pikachu and that's it. But then, you're able to receive Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, and now there's new friends. New friends like Eevee joining in, or Eevee is maybe the current Pokemon. These guys are joining in on its party. So I don't know what to say, but a lot of stuff is like this is popping up, and as you can notice right here, it's coming up all the time right now. You also see this picture right here, which I don't know what Eevee is actually doing here. It's kind of odd. But then you have also this picture where it's having the Detective Pikachu hat on it, which is very strange. But all I'm trying to say here, guys, is that these are hints. These are hints telling us that something is coming, as far as I can see. It's just everything is about Eevee and Pikachu now, and it's kind of crazy, and I think that these games are real. I'm honestly much on the this is happening kind of, table right now. I'm kind of on that table, and I think this game is going to happen. Whether it's going to be a reboot or a remake, I don't know. Let me know in the comments your opinions on that, guys. Either way, let's continue to the next thing. So, something just came out, which I thought was interesting, and I actually tweeted it out, and I talked about it a little bit, but, basically from PokeJungle right here, a tweet that says, new line stamps, they look retro, and these are, like, used in, like, phone apps and stuff. They're, like, little emotes or whatever, and he's mentioning that they look very retro, and I do agree, because look at it. You have a bunch of Pikachus, you have Bulbasaur, you have Squirtle down there, and I always say Squirtle before Charmander. Charmander and Squirtle, Jigglypuff, and then Eevee. And of course you have Ditto, and a bunch of other Pokemon. But in general, they look very retro, very old school, which is very interesting when you look at the other emotes, or rather the other, like, emojis or whatever, stickers, stamps, on that app that they're using. They are very much, like, higher quality, and they look more like, cel-shaded and that sort of stuff. So that's something I want to just bring up really quick, and now let's get to the next thing. And this is something that I wouldn't really trust, but this guy tweeted at me, and essentially his name was American Leaker. Now, I'll try to open up this. Oh, actually, I won't even be able to open it up, because if I try to open it up, it's just going to say it's gone. See, now it's gone, but I still have this page right here. I haven't touched it or anything. I've just left it the way it is. But he sent me something, and I was like, I don't believe this. Now, I'm going to read through his little, like, rumors right here, just so you guys can hear them, and let me know what you think about them. I don't think they're real, though, because a lot of these kind of, leakers or, these people always pop up when big things are happening, and they all of a sudden just have a bunch of information. Now, I'm not trying to be mean to this American Leaker guy. If you're a real dude, then that's awesome. But I have a hard time trusting it because I don't know who you are or if you have any you don't have any credibility based, on the fact that you're a brand new account. So, I just want to point that out, guys, real quick. Now, Why am I even mentioning this? Because he sent me a pastebin link with a bunch of information, and he says, RigPop420 or Ruffle Rowlet. Hello, I have a Pokemon Switch leak, and then a link, and it says, unfortunately, I must stay anonymous, and I will self-destruct this account. And then I responded to him and said, like, dude, I mean, you know, I'm sorry, but I just can't trust that. Like, I've been seeing way too many self-destructing accounts recently, which I have. I've been getting so many messages, not like super many, but I got a message the other day saying, like, when the direct is going to happen, which self-destructed and was removed and deleted and stuff, and now I have this one. Then he says, understandable, we need to be very careful with this information, which is why I think the Lapras/Eevee screenshots was made the way it was. So, I don't know what he means there, but let's take a look at the actual information right here. And I'll also link this down below so you guys can check it out. I'll link the pastebin, so if anybody else on YouTube wants to check it out as well and read through it and talk about it, I'll link it all down below, because otherwise this is going to be gone, because this Twitter account, I'm not sure if it's still, you know, alive or if it's still there. No, it's gone, actually. It's gone. So the Twitter account is actually gone. But either way, let's look through his list. So he directed this directly to me. Hi, Ruffled. I know the community is dying for a leak, and I can't resist to urge the urge to share the news with everyone. I'm worried about getting caught. However, so I must remain entirely anonymous. I understand if you don't believe me. I only ask that you hear me out. Now, I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I've got to be honest here. But I want to share this because it does kind of, you know, paint a really interesting picture about what I kind of feel like we're going to be getting. So I want to kind of read through it because it's kind of like a... This list right here is almost like the wish list I would want almost for the game, except one thing, which I'll talk about a bit later. So, I will mostly confirm and debunk and clarify on some of the most talked about rumors, since I am less likely to get caught that way. I will also attempt to leak some new information I believe to be safe. Okay, I can confirm that it is a Kanto 100 years after Gen 1. It is much different from the Kanto you remember. There's a mixture of new Pokemon and returning Pokemon. Returning Gen 1 Pokemon have new designs and even typings in some cases. Some Alola forms return instead of the original. This doesn't make any sense. This tells me instantly that this is fake. Why? Because why would Alolan forms of the Pokemon be in Kanto? They are Alolan forms for that specific reason, because they're from Alola. The other versions of those Pokemon are Kanto, you know, they're Kanto forms for the specific reason that they are in Kanto. Like a Vulpix is a fire type in Kanto because that's the region it originates from, and that's the kind of like typing it is within that area, and the environment has created it into a fire type. While the Vulpix from Alola is like an ice type because of the fact that it comes from a freaking region, I'm sorry. It comes from a region or an area where, you know, it's slightly, I mean, it doesn't really come from a cold region, but rather the area and the environment has turned it into an ice type. So this just tells me I don't trust it because of this right here, this one. Some Alola forms return instead of the original. I don't know how they return or which ones return, but that seems way too sketchy for me. But at the same time, it also would make sense, because how would they otherwise be able to provide us those Alola forms beyond, you know, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? Because those Pokemon are now a thing. Alola forms are now a thing, so you have to provide them in one way or another. So I'm thinking if they do return instead of the originals, how would that work? So I am very curious as to that. Now, he says here, there are nostalgic flashbacks to the old Kanto hidden throughout the world. It's a little like Zelda's memories in Breath of the Wild. They're hard to find, but they open up small zones where you can catch the original versions of returning Pokemon. Overall, there's a lot of less emphasis on plots than in the previous games. The new team, not gonna say the name, is incompetent but wealthy. They are responsible for the disaster that changed the region. This is something that I've been theorizing for a long time. I've been saying, like, that's most likely what's going to happen here. And I have another video I'm going to, you know, put out later today, which is specifically about this topic more. So I'll have that later, but let's continue. So I don't know where Johto and Unova Rumours came from. If these regions are in the game, no one in the, like, North American localization teams knows about it. So nobody in NA knows about it. Nobody's been doing localizations over there. And apparently this guy does localizations. Now, I'm very much curious, my friend. How would you, because here's the thing. I've read I think I could just kind of like skim through it, but this is the one I read like out loud to myself, and I was like, the screenshot with the Lapras and the following Eevee is totally fake. How would you know, is my question. So I think this is all fake based on this right here. How would you know it's fake? The real graphics are small to medium step up from that of the that and the overall camera angle is different from the 3DS games. However, it hints a lot at the real info. It's possible that somebody else on the team made that screenshot to leak hints without getting caught. If so, it worked. That is fair enough. That's a good point, right? That actually kind of goes against what I just said right there, which is fair enough. But I still feel like if you're doing translations, how would you know, about anything beyond the translations? How would you know about other stuff? That seems very much far-fetched to me, very unlikely. Also, I don't see much information about here, like how translations work, or you don't really tell much about what your work is or how you do it, which would be very much more appreciated, for me to believe it. But either way. He says, I can confirm there will be 2 versions, Pikachu and Eevee, in addition to choosing a traditional fire, water, grass starter. Professor Mulberry actually said the name of the trainer, which Mulberry, I mean, is that a name of a tree? Because usually all trainers, or all, not trainers, but like all the, whatchamacallem, like mulberries are just berries. They're just like weird berries growing on some weird trees, and they look pretty weird. I don't know why they would call them the mulberry. So I don't really trust this one, guys. If you want to read more of this, I'm going to kind of just end this one right here. If you want to read more about this one, go right ahead. I will link it down below for you guys to check out. So that's kind of that. Now, I want to go to the next thing right here, guys, which actually 2 things to talk about. So the first one is going back to the thing I talked about earlier in my video today, which is this image right here, as you guys may remember, showing like some Pokemon that were unreleased, 4 Pokemon that were unreleased, and that were not in, specifically, Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow. They were not included, they had to be excluded due to the limitations of the Game Boy. So I wanted to talk about these again, because somebody actually did a little bit of a nice breakdown of it right here, which is, I think, Qbert P actually did, actually, I think Qbert P actually hit me up about Piyuk being fake and finding, issues with Piyuk like points, which I'll actually take a look at Qbert's like whole list about what Piyuk was wrong about, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But this individual did a little bit of a breakdown, and somebody right here on Twitter called Retro Trainer, which I will also link down below to his Twitter account and whatnot, actually found like, or rather, somebody drew images of all these like Pokemon that weren't in those games, that weren't included. Actually drew them all, and it looks pretty awesome, to be honest. And not just them, but some other Pokemon as well, like I think Gorochu's up there as well, a little flower Pokemon and stuff, and some of the Pokemon that were never, like old Pokemon that we know about, previous ones as well. So I'm not sure exactly what it says right here, but he's actually got like a little, I can just translate right here. He's got a little message. So good morning, Apom. Attentive to this compilation images that I found by 4chan, the truth is that so much recent references to Gorochu and the Pokemon discarded in the first generation makes you think that they want to recover these for this reboot, which is what I think is going to happen as well. I think they may reuse these old designs and these old concepts for this new Pokemon Yellow reboot, or I mean, that's what I'm hoping it's going to be, or if it's like a sequel, that would make sense as well. Maybe new Pokemon have migrated, new Pokemon have been imported. I mean, the same way Pokemon migrated from maybe Kanto to specifically Alola, the same way they could have migrated over the course of 20, 30 years into other areas, right? That just makes sense to me. That's logical. But he shows that, and he shows some images, like, for example, I'm not sure if those are fan-made logos on the top right there. I think those are the real ones, but I'm unsure. You can see those up there. You also have, like, the pictures of Gorochu and all these like Pokemon that were shown in the manga, and then of course some sort of post there from 4chan, which I don't know what the post actually says. I wish I knew, but can't really do much about that. Now I want to go over to Qbert's post here. So this pic was posted by James Turner on his Twitter, which you guys may know about. I'll also link James Turner's like Twitter as well if you guys want to check it out. Who is actually an artist over at Game Freak. He actually does like Pokemon designs and stuff. So the new Satoshi Tajiri manga features a sneak peek at least 4 missing no. Their number ID line up with the empty slots in Red, Green, Blue, Yellow, labeled missing no. So these Pokemon are essentially the missing numbers, right? Missing no are these 4 Pokemon. So this individual actually translated them to Deer, Croaky, Cactus, and Yagu. Okay, so the other translation I saw was Jag, but Yagu is the other one here. So we also had confirmation that Blastoise's beta name was Caravaggio, which is actually pretty interesting information. I like that. Thank you so much for actually finding that out. Even in a later stage of development, it was already discovered in the 1990 Capsule Monsters documents. See the Ninja Turtle reference. These must be the voting sheets for one of the popularity polls Game Freak held to rate their designs. This seems to be the infamous poll held at Game Freak in October 1992, when the majority of the crew surprisingly voted Exeggutor as their favorite. However, the second place, Chansey, doesn't match with the second previously published in the book about Game Freak history by Akihito Tomisawa. Now, Game Freak, Asobi no Sekai, and then you actually see the name of the actual publication, who reported Slowbro as a second place. It also could be a different poll. And then you guys, if you may remember this image right here, you guys may remember it, how you had Tyranitar and whatnot. Now, these were designs before, Gen 2 happened. You had these actually right here. And you can see that apparently on the left right here, you can see this was from the little manga pamphlet. Apparently, Tyranitar was supposed to be maybe even in Pokemon like Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow, but it couldn't actually fit in. And you can see right there, they actually had a design over there for it, which is pretty interesting. So that is more stuff that I want to just kind of bring up here and talk about. So, I don't know, guys. If you want to see maybe more information about this stuff. I'll definitely talk about it if more info comes out and that sort of stuff. So that's that. But final thing for today's video is this right here. So Lorenzo here tweeted at me, isn't the Pokemon Go backpack similar to the one from the Lapras leak? And I agree. If you actually look at these two, like, you look at that one right there. So it's white, little Pokemon logo, and then black around. Then you look at the one on the backpack right here, and it's like white, black around, but slightly more white in the bottom. But I mean, it looks very similar. And if this like whole leak about Pokemon Go being connected, this would make sense if you're able to get like outfits from Pokemon Go, or maybe you do some sort of task in Pokemon Go, and you know, maybe related to the Switch game, and then you get like outfits and free, like, you know, free items and stuff from doing that. Then maybe the backpack would be a thing. So I don't know. I would love to know your opinions on it, guys. But it would be a pretty cool thing if that was for real. So you actually see it does look very similar. But that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be just essentially the last thing I wanted to talk about for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Reb Blue Green. I'll see you all later today for a stream, as well as one more video, or actually 2 videos. I'm doing a little bit of a collab with someone, which you guys will most likely enjoy. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Reb Blue Green. Have a great day, and bye-bye.